Welcome back, everybody. Time for us to go behind the headlines. And in our feature story today, we're taking a look at a story that was written in Politico.com. And if you follow politics, this is kind of the insider Washington, D.C. blog on, just what's happening in politics. And the story coming out of Politico is Big Marijuana Lobby Fights Legalization Efforts. Just read you a little bit from this. Pot legalization activists are running into an unexpected and ironic opponent in their efforts to make cannabis legal. Big marijuana. Medical marijuana is a billion-dollar industry, and like any entrenched business, it's fighting to keep what it has and shut out competitors. From the point of view of dispensary owners, legalization laws, depending on how they're written, can have little immediate upside and offer plenty of reasons for concern. For one, their businesses, still illegal under federal law, benefit from exclusive monopolies on the right to sell legal pot. But state measures still don't end the risks of an FBI raid or an Internal Revenue Service audit. Meanwhile, those same federal laws that prohibit growing, selling, and using keep pot prices high. This spring, the medical marijuana caregivers of Maine joined the usual coalition of anti-pot forces that includes active law enforcement groups, social conservatives, and public health advocates to oppose a state bill that would legalize possession of small quantities of the drug. The medical marijuana lobby argued that criminal organizations would start smuggling pot to neighboring states, and they complained that the bill's tax plan was unworkable and unfair. Paul McCarrier, a lobbyist for the Medical Marijuana Caregivers Group, told Politico, quote, "The main objections came from the fact that the bill was not built around Maine's medical marijuana industry. Philosophically, we're not opposed to the decriminalization of marijuana, but the devil is in the details." End quote. Now, this is a phenomenon we have been noting here at the Russ Belville Show and before, all the way back to 2009. I used to do a piece called Toss Salad, the Stoners Against Legalization article of the day. And this came from the 2010 effort with Prop 19 to legalize marijuana, which should be noted was funded and conceived of by a dispensary owner. So it's not everybody. It's not all of the medical marijuana industry that feels this way. There's many people like Richard Lee out there that put their own money on the line, knowing that legalization is best for them in the long run. And this is kind of a symptom of a problem that exists in America in a larger extent. And that is the reliance on all these short-term gains. I got mine. I got my medical marijuana dispensary. I've got my legal monopoly, and I've got my prohibition profit scheme. And I got that right now. Instead of looking to the future when, instead of having a monopoly and a prohibition tariff on 10% of the market, you could have a free market with 100% of the marijuana market and make so much more money, even though the prices would go down. Economies of scale. These people are thinking, a lot of them are still thinking with a drug dealer mentality of having to have the corner on their turf and to have to eliminate all, competition. Instead of thinking with a Target or a Walmart mentality of broaden the market, have more consumers, then it doesn't matter if your price goes down that much. Now, Eric Altieri is quoted in the piece, quote, "There are people who are benefiting financially and would prefer to see nothing change that." Of course, Eric's the communications director for NORML. And in Washington state, pot dispensary operators said the new legalization law would put them out of business. In Colorado, opposition from the industry to legalization was muted, but pot dispensaries won an important concession: the exclusive right to convert into recreational shops before anyone else can apply for a license. We found this also in Oregon. We found pushback against a previous legalization attempt because it would have gotten rid of the Oregon Medical Marijuana Act and made it legal for everyone. And they said, no, you can't get rid of the Medical Marijuana Act, even though what would have been left would have been exactly the same as the Medical Marijuana Act, but for everyone, even healthy people. So this is something as legalizers we need to think of and plan for as we move forward, how to deal with the entrenched medical marijuana industries out here on the West Coast and in Michigan as we move forward looking for legalization. If they're not bought in, we're going to face opposition from both cops and medical marijuana people. It's time to figure out how to convert them into allies. And the move in Colorado to let them have the exclusive right for the first rec shops, not a bad idea. All I know is I could never be on the same side as the DEA and the rehabs and the prison guards and the cops. I don't care what Bill puts out. If they're on that side, I'm on the other. This is a war, right? War on drugs?
Have you ever met that funny reefer man?
Hey, folks, when we come back, we'll have time for your Daily Toker Tunes, celebrating Virgin and Richard Branson with some Sex Pistols. Stick around.
NORMAL stands for Responsible Adult Cannabis Use. If cannabis use is causing problems in your life, consider taking a break or seeking medical assistance. Consider ceasing cannabis use if you have a family history of mental illness. Don't drive or operate heavy machinery while impaired by cannabis use. Cannabis use is not without risks, even though the risks